Welcome to the Steve Reeve Podcast with the best moments from the past week and a few things that didn't make it to air. Tuesday.
I spent the weekend away. A little bit of a long weekend just to get some R&R in. A little summer vacation, mini one. Spent some time in Alberta Beach. It was my first time visiting. And it says everything you need to know right there in the name, as well as taking in, some other sites along the way. But when we first got in, we had left a little later than we intended, just, had some stuff to take care of in town. And we got in during the evening, but small town, almost everything is closed long before 8. But there was a bar and a hotel bar, same block, same owners. We found that out because we were trying to get dinner at the bar, no cook for the night, as it turned out. But they said, hey, go try the hotel bar real quick. Their kitchen might still be open. We're the same thing. Lucked out, because not only did we get to order what turned out to be, I'm not kidding, absolutely incredible burgers, but it was karaoke night in Alberta Beach at the hotel bar, and every character that you'd expect of a small town karaoke night were in attendance. The old country crooner leaning on a stool, barely see their lips moving. The guy who keeps spiking the mic by walking right in front of the speakers over and over. The woman who stumbles in to butcher one song and then just leaves again immediately afterwards. Mysterious, and then the duet where one singer is just making up all the lyrics. It was amazing. There was an earthquake felt in Grand Prairie over the weekend. Minorly felt, of course. It was within the range of, sure, yeah, you can feel it, but nothing really getting damaged. Maybe something falling off of a shelf or something like that, But I guess the actual magnitude on the Richter scale, 4.2, 36 kilometers south of Grand Prairie on Saturday. A place where about 70,000 people live. And yeah, some people did report feeling a little bit of a shake. I remember a few years ago, I think it was like November of recent year, when we felt that earthquake in Fort McMurray. That was the first time I've ever actually felt one with my own two legs, and a very bizarre feeling. Some people, of course, in places in the world go, yeah, well, that's normal kind of thing. Happens every once in a while. Who cares? It's the big ones you have to worry about. But I still remember that it just was a monumental feeling to me that is not represented by the video that I captured at the time. Felt it in my living room. Took out my phone immediately. It was, I got to video this. And I got a video, like 10 seconds of a lamp swaying slightly, like a few centimeters. And it really shows you how little actually happened. But it felt so huge at the time.
It's time for Cruz Music News with Steve Reeve.
Got a couple stories for you. Coldplay and their Kiss Cam getting up to business once again, this time with a very happy couple. Lionel Messi got caught in the audience on the Kiss Cam, and of course creating a viral moment because anything with Lionel Messi attached is going to have that. But they're doing the thing, of course. They're waving, smiling, but they're not exactly doing what everybody will be doing at every single concert and sports game. Kiss Cam for the here to the rest of time. And by that I mean, of course, doing the astronomering, whatever you want to call it. Tony Hawk is going to be joining Goldfinger on tour, Warped Tour specifically, for the Pro Skater Anthem. And this is following a little bit of backlash on the Pro Skater 3 and 4 soundtrack. Now, this is the newly released combination of the two games that has a lot of the old songs, but not every single one from the original soundtrack, and a bunch of new ones added in there as well. Some people have taken offense to that for some reason, but I guess not too much. He's still getting booked to join Goldfinger on stage. Very cool stuff. More news to come tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Got one question. Is Katy Perry our mom now? If you didn't know, I'm surprised, but Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry were out, seen potentially having a romantic little lunch date. Maybe, whatever, maybe it was a business meeting. I doubt it. But Sophie's long gone. Orlando Bloom is freshly removed. So, these two single-ish people might be looking to find some connection, What I'm looking for is somehow to be able to hear less about both of them, actually. Today was the funeral procession for Ozzy Osbourne. We were talking about it a little earlier, but the live stream from the Birmingham bench, the Black Sabbath bench, where there is actually a bridge and a bench dedicated to those four rockers who recently came together at the beginning of July to say their farewell. 2 weeks after that, Ozzy Osbourne no longer with us. And through Birmingham in the live stream, which is just a fixed angle, you can see mainly just people gathered around, but at one point, of course, you do see the vehicles from the procession arrive and family members, direct family members of Ozzy Osbourne stepping out tearfully to add to the already huge pile of flowers and other tokens of affection and memory that people have been leaving at the site. A bassist who worked with Ozzy Osbourne from Metallica, we know him, we love him, Robert Trujillo, he shared a tribute right before the funeral saying he gave everything that he had in his final days. Geezer Butler echoing that he wasn't prepared to see how frail Ozzy was for that final performance, and members of the band feeling like he was holding on just to give that farewell. Other sad news this morning as we found out that the original singer of Iron Maiden has passed away, Paul Mario Day, and he was with the very first formation of the band before they even had any releases, only live music between 1975 and 1976. He was there when they formed on Christmas Day of 75. Of course, this might be a slight confusion in the headline, as last year we also saw the death of another Iron Maiden frontman before Bruce Dickinson, and on the first album Killers there was Paul Di'Anno, who unfortunately did pass away. But Paul Mario Day was the very, 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 very first vocalist, and he died at the age of 69, though no cause of death has been given.
You're listening to the Steve Reeve Podcast from 100.5 Cruz FM.
As usual, something relatively innocuous is being blown out of proportion. I do think that it would have been better had American Eagle included more spokespeople than just blonde-haired, blue-eyed American darling Sydney Sweeney in the Good Genes campaign that's currently happening. If you're playing off of the genes as in denim and genes as in DNA pun, like that whole thing, maybe widen the scope a little bit, like widen the perceived gene pool beyond hella white. But you know what, blame that on the mega company and whatever firm is dealing with this ad campaign, less so on the girl who just got paid to appear in the ad and doesn't even actually say anything about good genes or genes directly in it, which some people are getting really upset about. And I'm like, but she didn't even say it. That's all voiceover and text on screen. It all happened after the fact. She likely had no idea about any of it. Barely has any impact on our day in the end anyway. Well, especially for me, because I can never afford those jeans anyway. Never could.
Thursday.
New term for the people who are, well, shall we say, overly reliant on AI. The people who just dove right in way too much, way too quickly, without dipping a toe just a little bit. The term is sloppers. That's just fun to say. So it's going to catch on because it's just so hilarious sounding. And I mean, I'm not talking about people who use AI, period, full stop. And also, that is a huge catch-all term, AI. What does it mean? It could mean a whole bunch of different things. So you got to get into the weeds and into the brass tacks when you actually are trying to figure out if it's useless or useful thing. I think that there are cases for both out there. But for the people who, would submit a fully AI piece of art to like an art competition in a community or something like that, like that kind of sloppiness, that's a person who should be called a slopper. I'm fully behind it. Is sunshine guilt a thing for you? It sounds so ridiculous, but putting a term to the thing where we do feel like, oh, well, we gotta make the most of the sunny months while we have them, then that would be the term. Yeah, summer sunshine guilt, and absolutely is something that hits Canada pretty effectively. We feel that for sure as a whole country. I think there's most of us who think that, well, we got 8 months of winter, you get like 4 months of summer, so that you do the math and you just got to get out there and enjoy it. And there is something to be said for that. To be making sure that you are not letting it go by, that you are not wasting the opportunity to get out there into the sunshine and enjoy yourself during the summer months, even if it might be a little too hot, a little sweaty, sticky, a little buggy. You're having experiences that you just cannot be having at different times of year. And this can be a good thing, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't feel too guilty if you're just still taking it easy in the cooled, air-conditioned comfort of home, catching up on some reruns. I mean, hey, that's why they used to play the reruns during the summer anyways when we were growing up, right? So, summer sunshine guilt, it's a real thing, but don't let it be too much of a real thing.
Hey Alexa, play the Steve Reeve Podcast.
As we were talking about in further detail, there's been a trading of the drummers between the Foo Fighters and Nine Inch Nails. Josh Freese has now gone back to where he came from with the Nine Inch Nails lineup. And Ilan Rubin, who had been with Nine Inch Nails since 2013 and with an earlier stint as well, is now over with Foo Fighters, as we're learning this morning. Elton John appearing alongside a few other big names, talking Trisha Yearwood, Garth Brooks, Paul McCartney, and more, for the new Spinal Tap album. It's going to be released in tandem with the new movie, the some 40-year sequel. The End Continues is the name of the album, available September 12th. Of course, the movie as well, going to be out at exactly that same time. New version of Stonehenge and everything. As well, we've also got an atrocious review of the Elvis Evolution experience that's happening in London, a show that claims to, basically be the pinnacle event of any Elvis fan's future, reaching into both the past and what's to come to fuse them together into something incredible, though people who have actually seen the show are saying things like it was a complete shambles, and the immersive concert experience blending AI and holograms was not exactly larger than life. That's it for your music news this morning. Cracking up just because of the new phrase that I'm learning today, summer long balls. It is just the phenomenon of the fact that male reproductive genitalia does require a different temperature, and in fact it requires temperature regulation that is different than those of the opposing gender. In the summertime, when it's just warmer, simple enough, they are a little bit further away from the body, totally natural, but it is being studied in a way that it hasn't before. We do understand things like the production of certain cells needs to have temperature control. The production of certain hormones like testosterone also has a heat regulation aspect to it. So it's just, purely a natural thing. But what does extended heat or compression, type of underwear being used, how free they are allowed to be in a given day period, this is all being studied with a new batch of university research just to get to the bottom of things before, yours get to the bottom of the ground and get tripped on, stepped on. Can you tie 'em in the bow? That whole scenario. Don't think it's getting that hot this week.
Friday.
Reese's and Oreo are finally collaborating. They're finally hooking up. Everybody thought that they were, there was a thing. There's some sparks there at the Christmas party that one time, but now it's an official thing. And 2 new ultimate snack foods are going to be the result of that blessed union. Naturally, there are going to be Oreo cookies with Reese's peanut butter flavored cream filling, and then Reese's cups with milk and white cream chocolate, as well as cookie bits mixed into the usual peanut buttery filling. And I don't know if they're on shelves just yet, but they're expected to be very soon. In fact, there's pre-orders available online for people who just cannot wait to find them on the shelves, in the wild naturally. But I guess they're going to be out for a run this summer. And then in at least one of the other cases, you're going to see them by January in a re-rollout as well, right around the holidays. Yeah, that totally makes sense. But this is something that people have mashed up. They've made graphics of what the logos might look like. There's people like YouTubers online who are like, would it Reese's peanut butter cup if we put some Oreo in there? And I think the answer is yes. I think the answer to both of those things, any allergies or dietary restrictions aside, is an absolute yes. How have these two not come together already? There's Reese's everything, there's Oreo everything, and now there's Reese's Oreos and Oreo Reese's. Couple of stories to get into. First one, giving a little bit of context to that catacomb show by Queens of the Stone Age where they played in the catacombs underneath Paris. Apparently, there was some serious sickness involved with the necessary cancellation of the tour in 2024. They were in Europe partway through, and then they had to cancel dates, but they decided that while they were still there, they were going to do something they'd had in the plans for 20 years and record their live set in the catacombs. But Josh Homme was quite sick at the time. He is glad that he was not focused on the circumstance of it and the spectacle of it, and that he was more focused on the place and the music and everything due to the sickness. But They flew him back to the States, and within 20 hours of that performance, he was being sedated and put under for emergency surgery. He has not disclosed what this illness is, though they have added new dates for their European tour in 2025 to make up for some of the old ones before they will be heading to North America in October. And it should be noted that Josh Homme was cleared from a cancer diagnosis. He said he was all clear in late 2023. The hope is that it is not related to that. And over at the Ozzy Osbourne UK mansion, he has been laid to rest officially. There was a very private ceremony. Some major names were in attendance, of course, but it was kept a little bit more intimate and to closer friends, and featured a floral arrangement, one of the coolest ones I can think of for a funeral, that simply read his name with a big old swear in the middle: Ozzy bleeping Osbourne. Several people reaching out this morning going, "Give me the answer already!" Totally, I get you, and I got you. A little patience goes a long way, but it is now time.
Over 40,000 texts, 16 competing neighborhoods, 4 weeks. And now the Battle of the Neighborhoods 2025 with 100.5 Cruz FM is done. And there's only one thing left to do. Your winner is...
Abasand. It is... your champion returning to the throne once again. Abasand taking it for 2025. Now, the difference between the votes in the final round, which lasted from Monday until last night at midnight, thousands of votes coming in every day. The difference is 118 votes. That's it. That is all. Unbelievable. So it was a hard-fought battle on both sides. Wood Buffalo really, truly showing up. They wanted it bad. I know that might be a little bit of a disappointment this morning, but Abasand has won it with a surplus of 118 votes over the next spot. And that means that we're going to be throwing them a barbecue extravaganza with help from our partners. Of course, we have huge thanks to our text line sponsors. People heard from them when sending their votes in, as well as Legacy Dodge, Cal Tire, and the Agency North Central Alberta. Within a few weeks' time, we're going to be throwing this barbecue while it is still summertime and still nice and hot and sunny outside, and with a whole bunch in there. Not just food for people, but the trophy. We're going to have, of course, a chance for you to take some photos, make some memories, make it immortal, and the bragging rights last the whole year. Plus, we're going to have some other fun while we are all gathered for this barbecue. Details to come for today. Just enjoy the celebration, Abasand. It's back in your hands once again.
Transmission over. Want more Steve? New podcast episodes happen every Friday, or just tune into the Steve Reeve Show. Weekday mornings starting at 5:30 a.m. on 100.5 Cruz FM.